Whoa, what's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday night. It's 8 o'clock, so you know what time it is. It's the 4 for 4 Locker Room Podcast. I am your host, Mike Laro, a.k.a. Big Mike. Welcome to the Out of the Box Entertainment. And, oh boy, what a crazy week it's been here in the city of Philadelphia. Flyers making some news. The Phillies going from red hot to red cold to ice cold, I should say. Eagles making some news. Might have a few guys there kind of looking to land with the birds. Been hearing some rumors about that. We're going to get into that when we touch into the birds a little later. But, guys, first and foremost, we got to start off with those Philadelphia 76ers. What's up, Spec? There's my boy, Mr. Padre himself. Man, I know our teams that begin with a P, Spec, I'll tell you, they're having a rough season. But, let's get into these 76ers. Of course, Sunday, a bunch of 10 men, no heart at all. They played well the first half. They were down by 2. They just let Jason Tatum just take over that game. For the most part in this series, I thought Tobias Harris did a pretty good job on him. Sunday, that dude was he had that killer instinct ready to go. You got to give Tatum credit. He did. He had that killer instinct, and nobody on the Sixers had that. Nobody. I didn't see it from Joel. I didn't see it. Damn sure didn't see it from Harden. Again, the guy who's been most consistent in this playoffs, except for one game. He had one bad game out of 7 games. And that was Tobias Harris. I think it was game 6. He only had 2 points. Game 7, he put up he led the Sixers in scoring with 19. Again, Maxey, really not doing much to bench. Like, it was just a total debacle. Spec says firing Doc was no surprise to me. No, it wasn't a surprise to me either. But to me, I feel like he was a scapegoat. And, now my worst fears are that they're going to lock up James Harden to a max contract. The guy's 34 years old. He wants at least 3 to 4 years. He wants to get paid top dollar. He's not a top dollar player anymore. If I'm the Sixers, man, I let him walk. He wants to go back to Houston so bad, let him go. Yeah, I know there's nobody out there that can really kind of get to him. That can take the place of him. So what, man? Bite the bullet. Bite the bullet. I mean, he didn't get you over the hump. He really didn't. He got you to the same place that you got to the previous 2 seasons. You're getting bounced in the second round. So, to me, I don't, but I'm really starting to see a little bit of cracks in the armor around this organization here with this Sixers organization between them and Joel Embiid. Yeah, you mean to tell me Daryl Morey couldn't pull his star player in and let him know, like, hey, we're going to let Doc go? I mean, you should have known he was going to be asked about it. But no, they don't. They just don't. They didn't answer him. So with that being said, there's been a list of candidates that have been listed, as front runners for the Sixers job. Monty Williams, who's a former Sixers assistant, wouldn't mind seeing Monty get the job, even though a lot of people say he's Doc 2.0. I don't believe that. You have Mike D'Antoni, who has connections with Harden and also Daryl Morey. About him coming in here. You also have Nick Nurse, the former head coach of the Toronto Raptors. The difference between Nurse and those other guys is Nurse actually won a world championship with Toronto. So I would love to see them get Nick Nurse. I think Nick Nurse is what they need. Joel needs somebody to whip him in shape because this dude just doesn't have it, man. He really, truly doesn't. He doesn't for some odd reason. He's more of a what's up, Eileen? I heard a great comparison to him today with, you know, he, the Sixers don't have any Batman on their team. They got a team full of Robins, which is the case, which is true. Harden is a Robin. Embiid is a Robin. Like I made the claims earlier this year. I thought the best thing for the Sixers would be to trade Embiid, get something back for him. Stan Van Gundy, no. If this would have been maybe 5 to 6 years ago, Spec, I probably would agree with you. Van Gundy's been away from the game too long. Not saying that he doesn't know the game, but the game's kind of changed since he last coached. And as a matter of fact, I think his last time he did coach, he really wasn't that good. But there are some candidates there. Mike Pappermick says fire Morey. Yeah, I agree with you. No, Eileen, I don't want Mike D'Antoni. I mean, God, that guy's worse than Doc Rivers in the playoffs. Have you seen his playoff record? I don't want no parts of Mike D'Antoni here. I would rather take a shot with. If you're going to bring somebody who was here before back, I would give Sam Cassell a shot. I wanted Sam Cassell before they hired Doc. Mike Pappernick says Jay Wright, Mark Jackson, Mike Boldenholzer, and Nick Nurse. I like Nick Nurse. Boldenholzer's not, he won a chip too with the Milwaukee. Mark Jackson, no, I don't want him. And Jay Wright, you're not going to get. Jay Wright's retired. He's not coming in to coach this team as much as I would love it. There's a rumor that Mark Jackson will come back to coaching. I believe he would. I just don't think he's a great fit for the Sixers. I want somebody with a championship pedigree, and unfortunately, Mark Jackson doesn't have a championship pedigree. I know he got close a couple times, but JJ Redick, he's the baby. Dude, Joe, if JJ Redick becomes the head coach of the Sixers, like I'm not even going to watch another game, dude. Like I'm almost at that point now. Like next season's going to start, and I may have to call this the 3 for 4 locker room podcast. What's going on? That's got to be our man Diego. What's going on? Like the Sixers really, they're hard to watch because you guys know the end result. And I know people were getting on my ass earlier this year when I was talking about trading Embiid. That's what I think the Sixers might have to do that. And I don't think it's going to be because the Sixers want to trade him. I think there's cracks there in that foundation between them. I really do. Like, it was reported he was kind of hurt that they fired Doc. Like, how soon before we start looking, how soon before you start looking, maybe Embiid is the problem. Fire Maureen, go after Bob Myers. Okay. Mike says go after Bob Myers. Listen, Mark Jackson's rumored to the Suns. I could see Mark going there. I really could because they're a team ready to win now. I really could. Believe it or not, I think Doc Rivers is rumored to go there as well, or he's at least going to get an interview if he doesn't decide to take a year off. But I mean, just take a look around, man. Just take a look around. The Sixers are just not right. Like right now, they have no future. They have no draft picks this year at all. And I think it's every other year for like the next, 4 years? They got to give their draft picks away because they traded for this bozo and Harden. All they did, looking back on this trade now, everybody thought it was a great trade, but all they did was trade one problem for another. Me personally, I let Harden walk, man. I know some people don't want to hear that, but let him walk, man. The salary cap in the NBA is going up. The Sixers will have a little bit more money to spend if you let Harden walk. They can bring somebody in, man. They can bring somebody in to help Maxey. We don't need James Harden. And to be honest with you, like I said, there's cracks in that foundation now with Joel Embiid, and I'm a little worried about this. When I was calling for Joel to be traded, man, the Sixers owner Josh Harris isn't interested in the Sixers since buying the Washington Commanders. Mike, that very well may be. But, You can't really say that because he also owns the New Jersey Devils as well. And the Devils have been making good, decent moves over the last couple of years. You know, so be prepared, man. Let Harden be someone else's problem. Eileen says, I think you're right. Yeah, you're right there too. I mean, he's a great player, but there's a reason he's on so many teams. Yeah, he wears out his welcome after a while. You know, like just in the fact of what he said, okay, he wants to be able to go where he can be himself. Whoa. They asked him just to be a facilitator here. So I take it he wants to take about 30 shots a game and think that they're all still going to go in. Like this guy couldn't hit a bucket when it mattered. Spectator says, Harden will be a Rocket next season. Oh, I believe it is. He likes the go-go bars down there, man. The gentlemen's clubs are a lot better. The 76ers have made horrible moves in the last couple of years. They have. And now it's coming back to bite them. And you know what? And this is why I made a comment on my Facebook, believe it or not, probably about 3 weeks ago. I said, don't be surprised when Joel Embiid wins his championship in another uniform. And I had certain people contacting me and telling me that I was nuts, that the Sixers are never going to trade him. And I love Sixer fans, but sometimes this fan base, you guys talk out of both sides of your mouth. You can't pound your chest and say, oh, he's our MVP, and then say, oh, we're not going to get that much back for him. If he's the reigning MVP, he's in his prime, you are going to get a ton back. Eileen says, LOL, he can be himself. He just needs to own his team and be a coach player. Pretty much. Like, I'm done with the whole James Harden experiment. Let James walk. If there's greener pastures somewhere else, see you, dude. See you when you come to town. Next year, the Sixers will draft Bronny James from USC, and we'll have LeBron join him as well for 1 year, and James will coach the team hereafter. Oh, dude, that would be a nightmare. Oh, God, that would be a nightmare. That poor kid. Harden to the Suns. And Paul to the Blazers and Lillard to the... I would love to see Dame Lillard to the Sixers, but you know what? Is that really going to help solve the problem? Is it? I don't know. I like Dame Lillard. I like his game a lot. But, again, stop and think about what I'm saying. This is Joel's what? Third coach now? Third GM? Wow. Now, this is a statement right here. I don't believe in Embiid anymore. He doesn't have it in him. I'd listen to offers, but he's not going anywhere yet. That's odd coming from Joe, because Joe has been, our man Sully has been kind of, right there. He told me I was nuts, dude, when we sat down and I said we should trade Embiid months ago. He looked at me, he told me I was out of my mind. Adam Glenn, it's time to trade Embiid. Funny how this narrative's now starting to come along. I said this 3 months ago that we should have traded them. And like I said, everybody keeps saying that they're not going to get anything back. You do realize, like, the Sixers can control where he goes. Didn't he bring that one back up? There you go. Sixers will change coach, maybe trade Tobias, tweak a few role players, but it's another second-round exit next year. I believe so, too. I think they're in purgatory right now. They got to get rid of it. They got to get out of these enormous contracts that they have. I mean, the good thing is Tobias is after next year, his numbers come off the books finally. I don't know how much more money of Ben Simmons that they were paying, but I think that comes off. So it's a good thing. I mean, the Sixers moving forward are going to be okay, but they kind of sold their draft capital. And the only way you get your draft capital back is to trade a guy like Embiid. Yeah, okay, Miami may go out and win a chip. I'm just using Miami as an example. But you know what? You'll get Bam Adebayo back, probably Tyler Hero, and quite a few first-round draft picks. I would love to do that. Embiid to the Warriors for Poole, Cummings, Wiggins, and picks. I wouldn't mind having Wiggins come here. He's a local kid. He's a kid out of Camden. So I wouldn't mind seeing him come back home, play for the Sixers. They can't trade him now. They will run it back mostly. It'll go nowhere. I'm where I was pre-process. It's purgatory. Poor Joe, man. Joe lives and breathes with him. Me, I'm telling you, if they come back with a lackluster squad for next year, like I'm already putting it out there. This is May 18th of 2023. If they come back in September or October, whenever they get started, and it looks lackluster, and that they're not going to be fighting for the top spot in the East, bro, I am not even paying them no mind. Like, I don't care about regular season wins. I don't care about who's up for MVP. You want to surprise me, get your ass past the second round of the playoffs. Make it to an Eastern Conference final. If they would have made the Eastern Conference final this year and lost, I would have been cool because it would have been a step further. But what is it? The definition of insanity is you keep doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different result. The Sixers are insane, bro. Bam and Hero, you get a 7-8 seed playing seed. Who cares, man? You get out from under those contracts. Like, this is what the Sixers are going to have to do. They are going to have to – they're going to stink. They're going to be like the Iguodala team in 2012. You know? I have zero – it's just wake me in the second round. Joe, I'm right there with you. Paul had a – bring up Paul's there you go. I think the Raiders coach there will be fine. A coach – we're getting Emibiid like this year. Yeah, but that's the whole thing. It's got to be the right coach. You know, it all depends too, though. Harden's kind of a key factor in this. I'm not bringing Harden back on no max deal, and I'm not paying him an outrageous amount of money. Sorry. Okay, yeah. He won 2 games. He did really good in 2 games of 7. You know, like, come on. I'm not trying to hear that about James Harden. I'm really not. I'm not giving him all that money. If I'm the Sixers, I make him an offer. If he bounces, let him bounce. Like I said. Now, if they acquire somebody like a Dame Lillard, along with having like a coach like Nick Nurse, that could be interesting. But, again, I'm just not sold on him, man. I'm really not. And like I said, they fired Doc. Doc was a scapegoat in this because I thought Doc, for the first 5 games of this series, was out coaching Boston's head coach. He was out coaching them. Like it's you can only change the GM and coach so many times before you got to start looking at the players. And the one constant that's been here throughout all of it has been Joel Embiid. Like I said, 3rd general manager, 3rd head coach. How many more coaches does this dude get to have before we got to move on from him? Oh, there's our boy Cowboy Dave checking in. Says, hey, Mike, how's everything going? Dave, everything is super, bud. We're going to be talking football a little later on. I'm actually going to go over some of the schedules, man, that I've seen. But, I'll tell you, the whole NFC East, guys. What's going to happen is Maurice, man, Chris Harden will be back. Yeah, Mike, I kind of agree with you there. I think it's leaning towards that. And I'm telling you now, if D'Antoni and Harden are here, I'm not even watching this team. I don't care what kind of start they get off to. I do not want Mike D'Antoni here. Hell, I couldn't wait for it to get rid of him when he was an assistant. His playoff record's horrible. It's horrible. Like, it's worse than Doc's. So you're going to get rid of Doc, and then you're going to bring in Mike D'Antoni? Yeah. There'll be a lot of available seats at the Wells Fargo Center next year. Yeah. Paul's got it right there. Sixers need to surround themselves with the right players. Look at the Lakers. Yeah. But the Lakers are more of a team that just kind of caught fire at the right time because they were struggling all year. They didn't have an identity halfway through the year. So you got to give the Lakers credit. They caught fire. So, but Harden has an opt-in. He's a player option, and he opted out. So, and I think the opt-in was for like $35 million for 1 year. So he wants more than that. So, yeah, I'm good. He can kick rocks. Hey, Mike, I'm all about Nick Nurse for the 76ers team. Dave, you know what? We don't agree often, bud, but I agree with you on that one. I think Nick Nurse will be a great coach for them. They wouldn't go wrong with Monty Williams or Mike Buden. Was it Bodenholtz or whatever? The guy from Milwaukee. They can't go wrong there either. All right, guys, we're going to switch it up a little bit. Hold on. Adam got one more. The only way the Sixers get Lillard if they trade Maxey for him. Maybe not. You never know. It all depends on how bad his situation gets out there. It says, do you buy JJ Redick as 76ers head coach? No fear. I do not. No, never. So, guys, we're going to move on. No, Mike, I'm going to disagree with you there. He's not Doc 2.0. You know, he literally had Durant for like 3 months of a season. So I'm not going to agree with that. You know, I think Imani's a good coach. And like I said, there's like 4 guys that I would take. And one of them being Sam Cassell. I've been a Sam Cassell, supporter. But, all right, guys, we're going to move on because the other winter team here in the city of Philadelphia, the Flyers, made some headway this week. Looks like you can move up in the Flyers organization right there. As Keith Jones gets a big promotion from being the color analyst on the Flyers to now the president of hockey operations, joining Danny Briere, as Briere was also named the GM this week. And guys, you know what? I like it. I know a lot of people will kind of grin and bear about it because it's 2 former Flyers, now being, reintroduced. And my argument to that is they weren't just Flyers. Okay. Guys like Barber and Clark and Holmgren, they were Flyers. Okay. Keith Jones wasn't just a Flyer. Keith Jones was a Washington Capital. He was a Colorado Avalanche. Danny Briere was a Buffalo Sabre. He was a Montreal Canadian. Danny Briere cut his teeth in front office work with the Montreal Canadiens. Okay. Keith Jones knows just about everything that's going on in this league, and he's truthful. If you've listened to him this season when he was on WIP before Angelo Cataldi retired, you would have heard him. He was brutally honest. He said what this team needed. Now he gets put in charge to help do that. And I think they found the right guy. I really do. I think they're going to be able to turn this team around. It's going to take some time, and they know they got to get to work. But I'm telling you now, look for some of these guys, some of these top tier end guys that have been sitting on who haven't been living up to their contracts. Look for them to get moved. Look for a guy like Kevin Hayes to get moved. Maybe even a Travis Konechny. Maybe even a Joel Farabee. Look for these guys to get moved in the offseason. Sean Couturier could be on the move. Okay? This isn't the same Flyers that we've seen over the last 5 years. Like, these 2 guys know what they want to do. And to me, it's first time in a long time that it looks like they have a plan, regardless of what it is. And as far as them having the number 7 overall pick, I think they can still get a very, very good NHL player out of that pick. They still have a couple kids. They have a kid at BC right now, Gunther. He's on the way. I know he's going to play another year up at BC. That's fine, but he's coming. Okay, they have a lot of kids up in Allentown right now. That Allentown team was stacked, man. They made the postseason up there. They got a lot of good young talent. You got to let these kids come and play. We got to see what we have. I mean, we haven't made the playoffs in God knows how many years. What's a couple more years? So we can get a nucleus around. But the more important thing is the Flyers can now go out and kind of spend a little bit of money too, because they're not going to have these, these anchors on their team like JVR and Justin Braun. They're not going to have guys like this on their team. Cam Akins, Ryan Ellis. Yeah, nice to know you. You played the whole 6 games for us. You know, they're not going to have anchors like those guys. And I like Cam Akins. I thought Cam Akins was a very good trade, especially for Voracek. Voracek was getting up there in years. He wasn't nowhere near the producer he was. Get him out of here, you know? So I thought it was a good trade, but ultimately it ended up being our headache for their headache. So, but it looks like Connor Bedard will be heading to the Chicago Blackhawks, which that really doesn't surprise me. It seems like all the original 6 teams get people, or Pittsburgh. You know, I can't remember the last time I think the Flyers had a number 1 overall pick. I really don't remember. Maybe the Lindros year. I don't remember the last time the Flyers had a number 1 pick. I really don't. Their ping pong ball just doesn't seem to land. The closest we got was the year we got Nolan Patrick, and it was funny because the Flyers didn't even send any representatives up there. Forget where the draft was, but it was in Canada. They didn't even send any representation up there because their original pick was 14. They had less than like 0.2% chance of hitting the number 2 pick, and they got it, which ended up being Nolan Patrick, who was a bust. So, again, I like the moves that the Flyers made. I know my broadcast colleague on Devereaux on Sunday mornings, Pat Bernard, he didn't like it at first until I talked to him and kind of told him why I liked it and why I felt it was good. So maybe he might come around on it. All we do know is this. Our 2 winter teams, they're screwed up here. And our winter teams need an enema because they got to really flush it out and just try to, just try to get something going here with these guys because it's been well documented that springs at the Wells Fargo Center as of late have been dull. Usually we like to see stuff kind of going into June around here. And to see stuff only ending before Labor Day or before Memorial Day, gets kind of bitter around here. Okay, make sure you guys subscribe to the Sully Squad and Out of the Box Sports. Sully Squad will be giving away tickets to Phillies Braves for June 20th, and Out of the Box Sports will be doing the same for July 27th, Pirates versus Phillies. Sit with the host here in Pittsburgh with a barbecue at Paul's house that weekend. You must subscribe to win. How about that? Damn. Hold on. So when we come out there, you're going to be barbecuing, Paul? Oh, this is great. This is great. Paul's going to be barbecuing. Yeah. By the way, guys, that time you will be joining myself along with Joe Sullivan from the Sully Squad and maybe a couple others. We don't know yet. But it was definitely something that me, Joe, and Paul were definitely thinking about doing, was going out there for that game. So definitely might be doing that. And I'll tell you what. Also, that June 20th, bring that up again, Danny. That's June 20th. If you could, please. Yes, June 20th. I'm going to look and try my darndest to try to get tickets for that because that is actually 3 days before my birthday. My birthday is June 23rd, and I might actually try to go to that game as well. So you never know. You might run into me down there. So definitely try to link up there, guys, and make sure you subscribe. And it's a ticket giveaway, man. The Sully Squad's doing good things with Joe, Diego, and Fuge. So, all right, guys, I got to pay some bills. So let's pay some bills there, Dano. Guys, if you need anything, an MVA, slip and fall, workers' compensation, personal injury claims, make sure you get at our guy, Jason Fine, a.k.a. Big L. He has 3 locations. He has Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at 1628 JFK Boulevard. He also has Greenwood Lane, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And also the newest location, it looks like 500 Grant Street in Pittsburgh. Make sure you guys give those numbers a call if you need. And tell them Big Mike from Out of the Box sent you over there. He will definitely take care of you. He will take care of you like family. Next up, guys, join the cult. Yes, that's right. I am talking about Monkey Cold Coffee, guys. I've had the coconut rum coffee. I bought my cold brew shaker. I actually have a little cup of it sitting right here, right now, as we're doing this show. Guys, use the promo code OOTB Sports at Monkey Cold Coffee at the checkout, while owner Matt donates 10% of each sales to the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation. Um, he lost someone very close to him back in 2019, and he has made it a point to, donate towards pediatric cancer. And I cannot get behind this enough. I will say this: I had the coconut rum. It is awesome. My next one is to try the chocolate bourbon one. But guys, go on there. If you buy a mug, get something. You can use the promo code, like I said, OOTBS Sports at the checkout. You get 10% off, and it really helps out. It goes a long way. So, guys, make sure you definitely check out our sponsors. They are awesome to us. Make sure you are awesome back to them. Well, we're about halfway through this train wreck so far. Pause. I had to take a sip. Monkey Cold Coffee in here. Now we've got to continue on to the train wreck that is known as the Fightin' Phils. Or I should say the Fight Less Phils. Jesus God. What a turnaround, huh? They went from winning 5 games in a row and 4 in a row. It's been a crazy week. You had Bryce Harper ready to snap. Bryce Harper showed more heart and more fire going after a pitcher who was clapping at him than the whole Sixers team did, and on the same day. That's pretty bad. And yeah, they just been bad. Pitching's been starting bad. Pitching's been bad. Their defense has been bad. Our big money free agents have not been showing up. Trey Turner, I'm about to put his face on the back of a milk carton. Guys who are keeping this team afloat right now are actually as this, and it's been Alec Bohm, Castellanos, Bryson Stott, who recently has cooled off, and actually Harper. Those 4 guys right now are just keeping the Phillies afloat. Or Leland checking in saying, I don't think Harper's 100%. I don't think he is either. Leland, I don't think he is. I don't think he'll be 100% till probably when they said he would be about 100%, which was probably around a week before the All-Star break. I think he rushed himself back. His stroke's been there. Matches Malone, they ain't fooling me. They did this shit last year and went to the World Series. Matches, listen, I would agree with you, but I'm not panicking, but I'm seeing certain things now that are just it's mind-boggling. Rob Thompson, some of his decisions making that he has done is really baffling. Like the guy we had last year made all the right moves. The guy this year looks like he's a monkey screwing a football. Some of the things he's done, like you had a hot Bryson Stott who was batting leadoff. You pull him out to put Kyle Schwarber back in there. Schwarber's got to be down deeper in the lineup. Schwarber's either a strikeout or a homer. If you put him down in the lineup, he's going to drive in more runs. And he seems really comfortable. Like they dropped him down the lineup. The guy started hitting. Like, wow, who knew? So, I mean, this thing coming up, man, I'm more patient with it. To me, I don't feel like teams start hitting until now, around this time of year. But I did a little research going back to the show and looking at their numbers from 2009 till now, and the Phillies are kind of like right there. I forget. I wrote them down. I'm sorry. It's been a crazy week, people. I did write it down. I put it somewhere. My desk ate it. So, but the numbers were very similar. They were very similar to what they were in 2009. And I see a lot of eerie similarities between those two teams. What I mean is Cole Hamels wins the World Series MVP. The next year, the dude can't hit a barn. Zach Wheeler was our best pitcher last year. him and Noah threw the most innings they've ever thrown in their career. Both of them were not looking so hot. Okay. They go, Ryan Howard has a kind of a slumpy year. Kind of starts out real slow and slumpy. Jason Worth was slumping. So you see what I'm talking about with these guys. Utley started out like there was only a handful of players on that team that was kind of like hot. Like Rollins was a little hot, and then he would cool off. It wasn't putting together. It didn't take till like around the All-Star break or right before the All-Star break, actually, like the middle of June is when everything started clicking for that team. And that's what I feel like is going to happen with this Phillies team. I think they're going to go on a run, but it's just when they're going to go on this run. A lot of people expected them to get out to a lot better start. This is probably around the start I kind of expected them to go. I wasn't real high up, but I wasn't real down either. Sometimes it takes a minute to get used to playing with, newer pieces coming in. And for me, man, I think you really have to take a step back. I mean, like I said, those guys really all did pitch a lot. Starting pitching did pitch a lot. Only saving grace is, like I said, I don't think, we saw what Strom can do as a spot starter, and I feel really good about that. Moving forward, Bailey Falter has just had a very bad year, but again, he had a lot of innings last year. Again, my broadcast partner on Sunday mornings hit me right up on Twitter. Hey, your boy stinks. Yeah, he's having a bad year, but I think the best thing that could have happened for Bailey Falter is now he's had a chance to go down to AAA, and now he gets to go down and work on some stuff. And the Atlanta Braves, how about those Braves? Braves are playing really good ball, man, and I'm really interested to see what happens to them. I'll get to see the Braves firsthand in about a week or so when the Phillies go down there and play them. So, but it's interesting to see because the Braves, Braves were struggling with some teams that the Phillies kind of beat up on. They were struggling with Toronto there. Phil's kind of beat up on the Jays a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see. I still think the Braves are probably going to win the division. I would love to see the Phillies win the division. I just don't think they're on the Braves level just yet. They're getting there. Phillies need the Mets to be in first so they can go on a run like last year in 2009. Nah, matches, they don't. I think the Mets are just going to implode. Like I really expect the Mets to be in like fourth place by the end of the year. I just don't see Scherzer and Verlander holding up. They got offense. The Mets can hit the ball. They just don't have no pitching. The young kid, the young Japanese was it Kenta, the young Japanese kid. He's been kind of he started out great, but he's been kind of up and down. Like the league, I think is starting to figure him out a little bit. And them not having what is it? Diaz. Them not having Diaz in the back end to lock games down is really hurting them. So, like I said, I could see the Mets kind of falling back a little bit. They took 2 or 3 from the Rays. Yeah, the Rays are kind of cooling off a little bit. The Rays weren't as good as they started out to be. They just had a lot of things go. He had 12 Ks last night. All right, he had struggled previously up until then. He's been kind of up and down. So, but getting back, like I said, I do think the Mets are going to be the Mets. Like the Mets will be there all year long until it's time to be postseason wise, and like they see postseason and somehow just seem to fall out. Like last year, they got lucky because there was nobody else good enough in the wild card to catch up, and because that team was free falling. If that week would have been a week longer, the Mets wouldn't have made the postseason. So, Leland says, I disagree. The Mets have maybe 2 players who can hit consistently. Maybe. I don't know, man. I think, Lindor's pretty consistent. McNeil's pretty consistent for them guys. Alonso's a good hitter. I mean, they got a pretty stacked lineup. they can just get on the roll too, like anybody else, man. They can hit the ball, you know. But the weird thing is, like I said, if you look around the National League, there's really no like, I don't know. If you're looking at each division, is there anybody who's really, I don't know, like the Dodgers a couple years ago? Like you knew when you had to go play that Dodger team a couple years back, it was like, dude, yeah, my team's taking a couple L's. Like, my team's taking a couple L's in this series, at least two. Like to me, there's not that team in the National League. Milwaukee looks very good, and then boom, they go by the wayside. Oh man, Danny, we got the trolls out tonight. I got Bryce Harper checking in, dude. Thanks, Bryce, for checking in on your off day. Oh man, Mike wants to fire Robbie. I don't want to fire Robbie yet. I don't want to fire Topper just yet. He had a long season a year ago too. So I think they're good enough. Like I said, don't make a run. It's going to be hard. But the Braves, to me, right now, I think the Braves are going to be in first. I think the Mets and Phillies are fighting for second. And watch out for the Marlins too. Marlins pretty good ball. So the only team in the division that's kind of. He said Robbie's overrated. Well, you got to give him the chance, Mike, to find out whether he's overrated or not. You know what I mean? This team on paper is better than the team that he had a year ago. So if he got that team to a World Series a year ago, Spec checking this says Padres need to hit the ball. That's a team that's really surprised me. I thought they would be running away with the NL West, and they're still in a dogfight, man. Them Dodgers, dude, let me tell you. Them Dodgers. I'm mad. Like, so far, man, like, I'm taking receipts. Like, when they come to Philly, Dodgers got to get swept. Giants got to get swept. Plain and simple. Both of them teams got to get swept, man. Everybody drank the juice a year ago. Well, of course everybody drank the juice, Mike. I mean, they were the last seeded playoff team, and they went to the World Series. Look at the teams they beat. I mean, I think we all agreed that we all thought they were better than St. Louis, but come on. Nobody in their right mind had them beating Atlanta and San Diego. Nobody had the Phillies beat. They were underdogs, and everyone. And then they lined up against Houston, and Houston didn't lose a single postseason game until they played the Phillies. Now, come on, man. You got to tip your cap, man. If you don't like the guy, that's fine. But, yeah, you can't say that either, Mike. Come on. Now, I disagree with you. Can't say they won in spite of him. The guy made really good choices last year. You know what I mean? He's just not having a good start to this season. I can agree with you. He's not having a good season so far managing. But that's not to say that they can't turn it around. I think the Mets are 12-1 run wins. Have 12 1-run wins. You know what, Spec? That wouldn't surprise me. Marlins are playing real good baseball. They are. And I think they may be a factor in it. But how about like I know a couple weeks back, man, we were all on the Pirates, man. How have the mighty have fallen out there in Pittsburgh. Boy, the Jolly Roger must have put a load on or something, because man, they've been getting bombed. Leave Robbie alone, my question. I'm Trey. Bryce checking into the show. He's looking for Trey. I think we're all looking for Trey. But all right, guys, we have it says, how come Robbie never had a managing job before the Phillies? Answer me that. He did have a manager's job, but it was in the minor leagues. He wasn't a major league manager, but he was a manager. He managed at AA, he managed at AAA. So he was a manager. So, and he was always on Joe Torre's staff. He was on Joe Torre and Girardi's staff. So for some odd reason, they liked the guy. I can't answer why nobody took a chance to put him on their main roster, or I should say their the MLB, make them the manager of the MLB, but he was a manager. So I don't know. I mean, you had different people, like, from the Yankees organizations and where he's been at, kind of vouch for the guy, saying he's a good baseball guy. So, he's just having a rough time, dude. It happens. You just got to sit back. I mean, it's a young season, dude. We still got plenty of baseball left to go, and the Braves ain't running away with this division. Neither are the Mets. Everybody's kind of jumbled up close by. Holy snap, Bryce Harper. Wow, only a lot. All right, guys. Diamondbacks playing good baseball. Yeah, Spec, we'll see them on Monday. They come in after this starting tomorrow. Phillies got a 3-game set with the Cubbies, which, by the way, if you're a Phillies fan, you're going down there, make sure you root them on because we kind of owe them, too. We owe the Cubbies from last year sweeping us right after the All-Star break and then at the end of the season. So we kind of owe them some payback. So make sure you get down there for that. Danny, let's get that Kenny spot up. Guys, this is our boy who does the Bat Cave and also the Vegas sports scene. This is for Ken Fry's daughter. They're called the Original Janes. They're based out of Cressona, Pennsylvania. They're looking for donations, anything that you could do to help, just to help cover these young ladies who is a traveling softball team. Again, the daughter of Ken Fry plays on this team. So, they will be mentioned as Out of the Box Networks as a sponsor. So anything that you can give to these young ladies, we strongly suggest. Kenny is a brother of ours. So anything we could do to help him out and his lovely daughter and their team, we'd love to do so. So, guys, like I said, anything, make a donation, $1, $5, whatever, they'll be happy to say, and they will definitely say thank you. All right, guys. Now, this is the part of the show I've been wanting to get into a little bit because I've been doing a little research, okay? And that takes a lot for me because I don't like to do research. I like to have my stuff just put right in front of me, but that don't really happen. So, I'm going to go over each schedule in the NFC East. And I'm going to give my prediction. I'm looking at the opponents. It doesn't have the schedule. So hold on, let me make sure I get the scheduling here. Sorry about that, peoples. Sorry about that. They didn't want to give it to me. Huh. All right. There we go. Oh, boy. Is this the... No, that's last year's. Man, they don't want to give nothing out here, boy. Anyway, like I was saying, I was going to give the schedules out. There we go. I'm going to start with the Giants since they're the easiest one to start with. And we're going to go 2023. Nope. All right. Man, internet is just not acting up tonight. All right. Here we go. So, the 2023 schedule for the New York Football Giants. They kick off week 1 at home against those hated Dallas Cowboys. I honestly think, I'm going to be honest, I think the Giants finally get over the hump. I think they beat the Cowboys. I do. I think they beat the Cowboys, and I think they beat them that opening game. Second week, they are on the road at Arizona. I think they're good enough to beat the Arizona Cardinals. I have Giants starting off 2-0. Week 3, they play the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco. Giants get their first loss there. I'm going to say they're going to be at 2. They're going to be at 2-1. Following week after that, they are home for their second home game against the Seattle Seahawks. I like the Giants in that one. Reason being, Seattle's got to fly cross country. They got to play early. I do believe that game is early, right? Let me take a look at that. Yeah, I believe it's early. But so I have them literally or no. Here we go. Let's see this. Week 2, week 3. Here you go. Week 4. No, that's a Monday night game. That is a Monday night. Oh wow. Wow, they did not do Seattle any favors there. Holy cow. They have to come to the Meadowlands to play the Giants. Giants at home. They'll move to 3-1. This week, the following week after that, week 5, I have them playing. They're playing the Miami Dolphins in Miami. I am going to take the Miami Dolphins there. I'm putting them at 3-2. The following week, they are in Buffalo. Sunday night game. This is where I think the Giants get their third loss of the season. After week 6, I have them at 3-3. Week 7, they play the Washington Commanders. They own the Commanders. They will go to 4-3. Week 8, they play Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. And that's a home game for the Giants, so which means the stadium will be blue. I think the Giants move to 5-3. I think they beat Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Week 9, they play the Raiders in Vegas. I like the Giants in that game. I think the Giants beat the Raiders. They move to 6-3. Week 10, they're at the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry's World. They go to 6-4. This is where they split with the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys get them there. Week 11, I think they beat Washington. Week 12, that makes them 7-4. Week 12, they play the Patriots at MetLife. I think they go to 8-4. They have their bye. Week 13, week 14, they play the Packers. That'll put them at what? 9-4. 9-4. Then they're at the Saints. Scary place down there. I give the Giants a loss in that game. I think they'll be at 9-5 after 14 weeks. Christmas Day, forget about it. You're not beating the Eagles here. Christmas Day. I love you, Danny, but that's not happening. So you'll be 9-6. You beat the Rams. They go 10-6. Week 18, I'm actually going to give this game to the Giants. And I think the reason why I'm going to give it to the Giants is because I think the Eagles will have everything wrapped up. I think the Eagles will be wrapped up, ready for the postseason. Giving it to the Giants. So I see the Giants being 11-6. That is my goal for the New York Football Giants. That's my prediction for them. So let me try to see what these Cowboys. See what their schedule's looking like, and that's a pretty that's a hellacious schedule too, for them. And I'm just going to run it down and do it real quick and see what you guys have. All right, but Cowboys lose week 1. Pollard uncertain what better way to play them. All right, where the hell? All righty. Oh, that's last year's schedule. Oops. Yeah. So we know they're playing the football Giants. So why the? 23. Nope. I guess they didn't put theirs out, huh? Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. All right. All right. Let's see what they got here. There we go. Yeah. I don't know what's up with you Dallas fans, man, but trying to go there. It says the Giants will be 10-7. TJ, I got them going 11-6. even though week 17 when we move point, Boston Scott will score 3 TDs and beat the Giants. I was giving the Cowboys, I was giving the Giants some love on that one, man. Uh, damn. Uh, DJ in there with the dagger. All right, we're just going to read their opponents. Home opponents. Let's see. Dallas at home. They got the Commanders. I think they'll beat the Commanders twice. Split with the Giants. They have the Eagles. I think they're going to split with the Birds. Let's see. All right, I'll give them their home record. 1 win, 2 wins, 3 wins, 4 wins. I got them 4. Yeah, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got Dallas going 5-3 at home. I think their losses, or no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm sorry. I got Dallas going 7-1 at home. I think their only loss at home, honestly, this year is going to be to the Lions. I think that'll be late in the year. I think they lose to the Lions at home. I think everybody that's on their home schedule, I think they get 3 wins against the division. I think they beat Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. I think they beat the Patriots. I think they beat Pete Carroll's team. And I think they beat the Rams. So now the road record, I got them losing to the Giants, losing to the Eagles. So let's see. Away, I'll go 1 win, 1, 2, 2 losses, 2 wins, 3 wins. 49ers, yeah, that's a loss. So that's 3 losses. And I'm going to give them a loss between Buffalo and Miami, either or. So if you look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they'll be 5-4, 7-1 5. So you're looking at 11-6. I think they'll be 12-5. 12-5 is what I picked them to be. So 12-5 for those guys. Washington, we already know they're pulling up the rear. I gave my Eagles predictions already at 13. I think the Eagles are going to be 13-4. It's going to just be 1 game better. I know a lot of people don't want to go on a limb there with them. But, other than that, I really don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be much of a difference, man. I really don't. I think it'll be something to where we can if the Eagles can stay healthy, and that's going to be the main thing, is staying healthy this year. If they can stay healthy, I think they got a really good chance to kind of repeat the process of what they went through a year ago. Not to say I think Dallas right now is the TJ got the Birds going 16-1. I think Dallas is the second best team, not only in the division. I think Dallas is the second best team in the conference. I think the Cowboys are better than the Niners. It's just that the only reason I took the Niners to beat the Cowboys is because that game's in San Francisco. And for some odd reason, Dallas doesn't play too well out there. Over the recent years, they haven't played well out there. It's the only reason why I took them. Yes, that 1 loss to the Jets. No, Eileen. I'm sorry, but, Aaron Rodgers made the biggest mistake in the world. He put a Jets uniform on. So now when he sees the Eagles, he's just going to be throwing interceptions. The Eagles don't lose to the Jets. No, TJ, I think we're going to have to buy them because I've been trying to talk to my boy Sully over there about getting these tickets, but you said you want to sit lower level. So you got my number. Let's talk about that because that's a game I definitely want to go to. Matter of fact, I can even set it up. We can get a tailgate in too. But yeah, I can't wait, man. I really cannot wait. I am super pumped to go ahead and do that. Who is the 49ers QB? Right now, it's Sam Darnold to start the season, but they said Trey Lance. By the time that Cowboys game rolls around, it's either going to be Lance or Purdy back. So I'm waiting to see, man, what goes on with this. So it's going to be crazy. I don't care where we sit as long as we get there, bro. T, call me off of this, man, and because I got to, there's a pretty good bus trip. I'm going to we'll talk off of here. Give me a buzz. And I'll be up in about 20 minutes after I'm done. Just give me a buzz. And so yeah, guys, definitely I know they're not a sponsor on here, but I used them and I went and did them. So make sure you check out. And I know Paul's probably going to yell at me, but that's okay because I actually did the tailgate. I'm actually going to try to talk Paul into doing the tailgate when we go to Pittsburgh because they have tailgates. Philly Sports Trips, give them a look. And the only reason why I say this, I did the trip last year to DC through Philly Sports Trips. Dude, the tailgate alone was worth the admission. It was worth the price I paid to go. So, yeah. All depends on Thanksgiving. 14 days, 3-game swing. The Cowboys get that every year. They do. I really like that's the only time I feel bad for them, dude. Like they literally get 3 games. It's like, but then I just stop and think, I'm like, no, it's the Cowboys. So but Purdy said he might not play in 2023. I keep hearing conflicting reports about him, dude. I just had the same surgery as Purdy. It's a major surgery. Well, then they're probably going to have Trey Lance back by then. I keep hearing conflicting reports, though, because they keep saying he's going to be back by the middle of the year. I'm hearing he's going to be back the middle of the year. You're the first one that said he might not be back at all. So it's crazy, man. But guys, listen, I can talk Eagles with you all night. I can talk Phillies with you guys all night. I can talk Sixers and Flyers with you guys all night. But guys, make sure you guys check out. Hey, I got an idea for anybody out there. You guys ever think about doing what I'm doing? Because if you have, make sure you hit this guy up right here. Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, live streaming entertainment company for all your needs and visions. Start your own podcast, banners, overlays, live feeds. We can make that happen. Guys, make sure you call Paul Spencer. His email and his phone number are right there. Guys, if you want to be doing what I'm doing, give Paul a call, man. We're always, that's why we're called Outside the Box. We're always looking to add on something, man. Our slogan is we have something for everybody. And if you haven't known that by now, by seeing our lineup, our lineup is stacked, man. So with that being said, guys, matter of fact, here is our lineup. Guys, Monday night, 6 p.m., we kick it off with Joe Sullivan, Mike Fuji, and of course, Diego. The Sully squad, they kick it off at 6 o'clock, followed by them, the one and only my son, Big Ev, Lauro, and Danny Connors kicking it off, the Joystick Junkies. Tuesdays, we have Joe Sullivan again with the Extra Innings. It's a baseball podcast. Wednesday morning, 10 a.m., the Bat Cave with Kenny Fry, talking all New York Mets baseball. So for all you Met heads out there, make sure you swing by and give him a nod. 6:30 on Wednesday. Wednesday's probably our busiest day. 6:30 on Wednesday. Them 215 boys, Paul Spencer, Matt Klein, and of course Cowboy Dave Yarnell. Make sure Dave will have you all up to date in the comings and goings in the world of Jerry and those Dallas Cowboys. Then 8 p.m. usually on Wednesday nights. We'll be back in a couple weeks. But College Football Frenzy, it is myself, Paul Spencer, Sean Killer Kilrain, breaking down all the action and everything leading up to the start of this 2023 college football season. Of course, Thursday night, you have myself live, 8 o'clock, the 4for4 Locker Room Podcast with Big Mike Lauro. And Thursday, right after me, give it about 2 hours. I don't know if they're going tonight because they didn't tell me, but we usually have the Fight Club 215, Joey Wood, Paul Spencer. And of course, tomorrow night, the guy who's producing this show, Danny Connors, and my son, Evan, along with Stacy, Big Blue Power Hour. Big Blue Power Hour. They will be breaking down everything New York Giants and, everything that I probably opposite just said about the Giants. They're probably going to say about the Eagles tomorrow. But hey, tune in. If you're a big Blue fan, they will definitely entertain you. Saturday, 10 p.m., the Vegas sports scene, again with Kenny Fry. He breaks down everything Golden Knights and the Las Vegas Raiders, and coming soon, the Las Vegas Athletics. So there you have it, guys. We do have some shows coming in the future. I do know there is a Washington Commanders show coming in future. So apparently there's a announcement next week of another show. So make sure you stay tuned to Out of the Box. And guys, I'm Big Mike. You can check me out. Hey, Linda, better late than never. But how you doing, sweetie? Have a good night, Mike. I love you to death, brother. Be good. And guys, make sure you check me out. Dead Row Sports, 9 a.m. P&M in the a.m. And I'm going to probably have to strangle my cohort later, tomorrow or Sunday. Make sure you check me out there. Guys, have a great night. Get ready for Fight Club 215 if there is one tonight. I know Paul's a little banged up under the weather, so Paul, make sure you take care, get better. Guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you once again for everybody who chimed in. Without you, I'd just be talking to myself. So thanks again, man. I really appreciate it. Guys, you have a good night.